Welcome back, everyone, to our Abhidhamma study lesson with Yaro Pinyati Kalinkara. This will be the 30th class, and we will be studying the association of beautiful mental factors, and this will be the first part of that series. Before we begin, we would like to invite Yaro to lead us in Namo Tassa. Yaro, if you would like to lead us in Namo Tassa, please.
Okay, let's pay homage to the Buddha, reciting Namo Tassa 3 times together. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa.
Thank you very much, Yaro, in leading us in Namo Tassa and paying homage to the Buddha. We will now begin the Abhidhamma lecture. Yaro, whenever you would like to begin.
Okay. Okay, welcome back to Abhidhamma study. Today, in the association method, Sambhayoga, we are going to study about the association of beautiful mental fetters. Beautiful mental fetters, Sobhana Cetasika. So, association method is Sambhayoga. So, in the Cetasika chapter, 2 methods of association and combination. As I mentioned that, in the association method, we will search for the consciousness based on the mental fetters. So in which mental fetter, how many consciousness can be associated. And in the combination method, we will find the mental fetters based on the consciousness. So in today's study, so beautiful mental fetters. Before we learn the consciousness associated with beautiful mental fetters, we need to know the classification of beautiful mental fetters. For the beautiful mental fetter, we divide it into 4 parts. The Sobhana Saradhana Cetasika, universal beautiful fetter 19. And Viradhi Cetasika, the abstinence 3. Can you bring the 3 Viradhi Cetasika in Pali?
Sama Kamanta, Sama Aziva.
Sama Vacha, Sama Kamanta, Sama Ajiva.
Okay, good. Sama Vacha, Sama Kamanta, Sama Ajiva, please. And what about the Apamanya Cetasika 2?
Karuna, Mudita.
Okay, can you bring English? Karuna, what is Karuna?
Compassion.
Compassion.
Appreciative joy.
Okay, appreciative joy. Okay, joy is different. Joy related to the sensual pleasure. No, that is, we translated that on the Somanasa Sahagata, right? Associated with joy. That is a joy, but Somanasa, just delightful feeling and related to sensual pleasure. It is Loba Mula Citta. So they are also joy. And this appreciated joy is mudita. I already mentioned that the mudita must be taken. The other is success, others successes, others gain happiness as it is object. This is different kinds of joy we have to understand. Then the last one, Panyendriya Cetasika, the wisdom faculty. Okay, so let's see the principle. So in every every mental fetters, they have the principle to associate with consciousness. So here, first group, Sobhana Saradana Chitasika, the universal beautiful fetters. The principle is they all cause or they associate with all 59 or 91 beautiful consciousness, Sobhana Chitasika, Sobhana Chitta. Starting from sense sphere. So in the 54 sense sphere consciousness, how many consciousness are beautiful?
24,
24,
Good. So how many are not beautiful?
30.
30.
Okay, good. So in this way, you can recall whenever we see any relevant vocabularies, and you can recall. In this way, you can digest all the classification in consciousness chapter. Okay, then for the Virati, so here these all 19 universal beautiful fetters will occurs whenever 59 consciousness rise. So they are in beautiful consciousness, since we have beautiful consciousness, they are wholesome consciousness. So when wholesome consciousness arises, you have to know all 19 accompany. What are these 19? Do you know? Saddha,
Sada, Sati,
Hiri,
Hiri,
Ottappa, Aloha, Adosa,
Tatra,
Tatara. Then two, the 6 pairs, Kaya Pasari, Chitta Pasari, etc. Right? So 7 and 6 pairs of 12 mental fetters in this way, 19. It's not difficult. So if you know, then this is whenever you are performing wholesome, good action with the wholesome consciousness, there's sattva. It's not necessary, that in that case, you have to consider that if we understand sattva is there, wholesome consciousness arises. So if the other religious people, the followers of the religion, perform the good deed, is there any sattva or not?
I think yes, but maybe not the sattva in the 3 jewels, but sattva in their own religious beliefs.
That's a very critical point, to integrate the Abhidhamma understanding and Sutta understanding. Sometimes sattva is defined as what I'm introduced that the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, Karma, and it is resolved, and the training is like this. These are called sattva. But as I mentioned when I explained the meaning of sattva in that case, although the Abhidhamma literature and some text explain in this way, sattva has a wider sense. Sattva has wider sense. Because, the other religious person and even the animals, when they perform the wholesome deed, there must be sattva according to this understanding of Abhidhamma. For example, there in the Sutta text, the Vinaya text, have you ever heard about the elephant? The Pali Liyaka elephants, the elephant which served the Buddha, the whole wasa. After the argument, of the Sangha, the Buddha went alone and stayed in the forest. At that time, the elephant gave his service to the Buddha, and the monkey offered to the Buddha the honeycomb. And at the end of wasa, the elephant died. During the wasa, after offering, the monkey died. They performed the wholesome deeds. At the moment, in the process of these animals, wholesome consciousness arises, then there must be sattva there. They don't know, sometimes, for the monkey, they don't know about, it does not know Buddha or Buddha's virtue like this. There must be sattva according to this understanding of Abhidhamma. Now we have to question, is it possible or not? Otherwise, we will not understand what is the controversial points. And as a learner of Abhidhamma, and as a learner of the teaching, is that we have to question and we have to find out what is possibilities. Although it will be better than we keep our blind faith and just follow. Okay, so here, and also mindfulness, right? So Saddha Sati, second one of the universal beautiful feather is mindfulness. Okay, so if they perform the wholesome deed, because the wholesome consciousness now associated with all the beautiful feathers, the universal beautiful feathers, that's why Sati also must be there. Okay, so this is we have to develop our way of understanding. Then let's continue another group. Viddhati Cetasika. For the Viddhati Cetasika, this group occur in 8 wholesome sense sphere in mundane. So in the 81 mundane consciousness, only 8 consciousness associated with Viddhati. It means the other does not associate. Then in the supramundane consciousness, all supramundane consciousness associated with Viddhati. Because Viddhati, 3 Viddhati are path feather, path feather are Meghanga. So here, Megha and Phala. Supramundane is only 2 groups in Megha and Phala. Whenever the Megha and Phala consciousness arise, the Viddhati arise automatically as a feather, being the feathers of path consciousness and fruition consciousness. They automatically and always associated with supramundane consciousness, Lokuttara consciousness. But in Lokiya consciousness, the mundane consciousness, only 8 wholesome sense sphere, only in 8 wholesome sense sphere. Also here, sometime, not always, but in Lokuttara always. So this is the difference. Now I will explain more about this. But in this case, the principle is Viddhati Cetasika associated with 16 consciousness, 8 mundane and 8 supramundane. Then for Appamanya Cetasika, 28 consciousness. What are the 28? Let's see, the great wholesome, the same as the wholesome sense sphere, right? Wholesome sense sphere, another name, great wholesome, in Pali, Kama Vachara Kusala. This one, you can take a note in Pali. Kama Vachara Kusala. On the other hand, it is called great wholesome because it is the great number in different group. 8 consciousness collectively called Kusala. Then for the Rupa Vachara only 5, Arupa Vachara only 4, Lokuttara only 4. That's why the number 8 is greatest number. And also because it is usually arise in the great amount of the people, individuals, compared to the Puthujjana and the noble person, Arahat are only a few. And compared to the sensual beings in sensual plane of existence, the Brahma are only a few number. And compared to that, they're also great. Okay, so you should not confuse. This is Mahakusala. So Kama Vachara Kusala and Mahakusala referring to the same group. And here, the great functional sense sphere is great functional. It's okay. That if we just say the great functional, we can say the Mahakiriya Chitta. But here of sense sphere consciousness, if we just talk this is different. If we use the wholesome sense sphere, we get only 8 consciousness, right? Among the 54 sense sphere consciousness, how many wholesome? Among the 54 sense sphere consciousness, how many wholesome consciousness?
Only 8.
Yes, of course, only 8. But among the 54 sense sphere consciousness, how many are functional?
11.
11, yeah, because there are 3 functional consciousness in rootless group. Yeah, so it's not enough to say the functional sense sphere because it will be including all 11. That's why to make sure 8 great functional, only great functional, Mahakiriya. Okay, so 16 and sublime consciousness or first 4 jhana. The first 4 jhana, each of them have how many consciousness?
3.
3. First jhana 3, second jhana 3, third jhana 3, fourth jhana 3. So altogether 12 sublime consciousness. The remaining are fifth jhana, 15, right? So altogether 28 consciousness are associated with Abhamanya, Karuna or Mudita when they arise. When the Karuna arrive, we can find in 28 at most, not at most. Then for the Panyendriya, this is the easiest one. You already know the Tihetuka, right? Only Tihetuka consciousness can be associated with the Panyendriya because Panyendriya and the Amoha roots, right? Amoha roots, same. So 47 consciousness associated with knowledge. Okay, these are the principle. So 4 groups have their respective principle. That's why we have the 4 principles regarding the beautiful men that fed us. Okay, keeping this in mind, and we can continue our study, understanding. So here, just to review, 25 beautiful feathers in 2 categories. You know, the 7 come in the single one. Saddha, Sati, Hiri, Ottappa, Aloba, Adosa. Here no Amoha, because Amoha equivalent to wisdom faculty, which come later. Then Tattara, Machatattara, neutrality of mind. Then and 6 pairs of the Kaya Pasati, Chitta Pasati, etc. Okay, so because we already studied this in previous lessons, so we will move to the association process. Okay, here, because the first group is universal beautiful feather, 19. Second group is Virati. So first group always associated with 59 or 91 beautiful consciousness. So second group, Virati Jidasika, Samawaja, Samagamanda, Sama Ajiva. So right speed, right action, right livelihood. Okay, they are associated with 16, right? 8 mundane, 8 in mundane, and 8 in supramundane. So dissociated consciousness, how many consciousness are not associated with the Digitasika? How many?
73.
73. So let's consider again, why not 121 consciousness?
They are not part of the jhana factors.
Right. So Samavaja, Samakamanta, Sama Ajiva. Although these 3 are fetters of path, the path fetters, Meghanga, they are not jhana fetters. You have to make sure, right? So path fetter and jhana fetters different. Okay, so let's count 73. Can you count 73 from the beginning?
Unwholesome 12.
Okay.
Rootless 18.
Okay. 30.
And 8 wholesome resultant.
Resultant.
8 wholesome functional.
Functional, so 16, 46. And
15 fine material sphere.
okay.
12 immaterial sphere.
Okay. 73, right? This is 73. So this is, you just need the concentration and practice. So all correct, wholesome, rootless, and in order to take up the wholesome sense sphere, we count the 16. So resultant and functional. Then the others two group of sublime consciousness, because the supramarine consciousness can associate with avidity. So here, let's see the nature. So these three arise taking the object or transgression. Transgression. When someone, deliberately keep the attention, keep the intention to avoid wrongdoing. The first samavaja, in case of samavaja, right speech. When right speech arises, it means when a person intentionally trying to avoid from wrong speech. How many wrong speech?
4.
Okay, what are these?
False speech.
False speech.
Slander.
Slanderous speech.
Harsh speech.
Harsh speech.
And frivolous speech.
Frivolous talk. Yeah, okay. So Musawada, Pisuna Waja, Prusa Waja, Sampapalapa Waja. These are 4 wrongdoings. So when someone going to speak out, then he think whether what he is talking is good or bad. If the intended, way of conversation is bad, and he keeps silence, not talking that, and he trying to speak the correct way, correct word, or in not slanderous way. In this way, when deliberately advised, the wholesome consciousness arises in Buddhajana and Sikha. So when the consciousness, the wholesome consciousness arises, at the moment he is intentionally abstraining from wrong speech. That's why that wholesome consciousness comes with the right speech, the manifestos of right speech associated with. In the same way, when someone trying to avoid from wrong action, how many wrong action?
3.
3. Okay, what are these?
Refrain from killing, stealing, and sexual contact.
Yes, if a person deliberately avoids from bodily wrongdoing, this wrong action, then at the moment the wholesome consciousness arises. Then the right action, the manifestos of right action, is associated with the wholesome consciousness. Then sama ajiva, if someone trying to avoid from 7 kinds of wrongdoing related to livelihood. So at that moment, other than the former 2, the right livelihood associated with. That's why the 3 kinds of virity come with the wholesome sense sphere consciousness. Okay, so let's consider a wholesome case. He's doing something wrong. That's why not avoiding, cannot associate with the 3 virity. In the same way, the root-like consciousness just a result, and the resultant and great resultant consciousness at the moment of bhavanga. So this is just resultant, so cannot avoid. It is the same, if you say that drive the car, as a result, it's already run. It's already run. The speed is there, and you cannot control it. Just let it go, like the resultant, not making intentionally. That's why no avoidance or no commitment at the moment of resultant. So here, when the person deliberately avoid from something, his mind is taking the transgression as it is object. I will avoid from this. not killing. So killing is object of Viddhati. At the moment, stealing. So I cannot steal. The commitment of stealing, or the something to steal, something to take, is the object of Viddhati because it is avoiding. And this is what I say that arise, and these three Viddhati arise taking the object or transgression. Okay, so in this case, the critical point also here, supramundane consciousness. But in the wholesome sense-pure consciousness, which is mundane, there when Viddhati arise, only one of them can arise at a time. When Samma Vaca arise, the other two cannot arise. Because they don't have the same function, you know. Samma Vaca just arise, abstain from wrong speech. And Samma Kammanta abstain from wrong action. That's why they have a different aspect. So they cannot arise together. Also, Samma Ajiva, although this share the same abstinence from the former seven, but this has the specific character associated with the livelihood or not. If these action or speech are not associated with livelihood, these are related to former two. When these seven wrongdoings are associated with livelihood, it is the case of Samma Ajiva. That's why three of them have the different focus. So they cannot arise at the same time in the mundane level. In the mundane level. When they arise, they separately arise. So in wholesome sense-pure consciousness, when the person trying to avoid from wrong speech, Samma Vaca arise. The other two cannot arise. And when he trying to avoid from wrong action, Samma Kammanta arise. Only one. And when he trying to avoid from wrong livelihood, Samma Ajiva arise. The other two cannot. So this is for the mundane case. Okay, let's talk about the supramundane case. When the supramundane consciousness arises, as I mentioned there must be any of mega or phala. Supramundane only have two types, whether mega or phala. So if mega or phala arise, there must be Meganga, 8 feather together. Although they are called Meganga, they are associated with phala consciousness as well. So as the feather, they cannot be absent. So these three arise together and always in supramundane consciousness. So here you can take a note for wholesome sense-pure mundane consciousness, the Viddhati Cetasika arise each, only one at a time. And also not always, sometime arise in the mundane. So if a person just, pay respect to the Buddha, there's no deliberating, that. There's no abstaining. That's why no Viddhati. Or if someone offering food to the bhikkhu or offering food to someone else, wholesome consciousness arise. No abstinence at that moment. Just performing the wholesome deed. Also meditating. At the moment, there's no Viddhati. So Viddhati is abstinence only when it can take the object or transgression and avoiding. Then that time Viddhati arises. So in wholesome sense-pure consciousness, Viddhati arises only in some case. And when it arises also, one of them can arise at a time. Not three cannot arise together. But for supramundane consciousness, they arise together. This is different, right? And also, they always arise always associated with supramundane consciousness because they are the feathers or constituents. They cannot be absent. So this is the different way how Viddhati mental feathers associate with wholesome sense-pure consciousness and supramundane consciousness. Okay, if you understand, let's continue. So only 16, the 73 are the absent. Then let's see the Viddhati. So here the notes are Viddhati cannot arise and not occur in resultant sense-pure citta, Mahavipaka. Because do not exercise function or restraints. So you can ask for, in case of akusala, it is okay because Viddhati is beautiful mental feathers, right? We don't need to ask a question about the unwholesome and rootless. And we can ask, because the resultant sense-pure are also beautiful, why Viddhati cannot associate with? We can say the resultant consciousness, vipaka consciousness, do not exercise the function or restraints at the moment. Even that moment is resultant from resultant of the consciousness, the wholesome consciousness, wholesome karma. That's why it cannot avoid or it cannot restrain from any wrongdoing. Now, this is one note, and the other note is about the functional. So what about the functional? When the functional consciousness arises in the process of arahat, so arahat are not doing something wrong, right? And they also avoid, I cannot commit killing, I cannot commit stealing, and I cannot tell the lie like this. So what about at that moment? So arahat already overcomes disposition toward the transgression. There's no more intentionally deliberating, already remove the disposition, all the disposition with the kilesa, because there's no more defilement, no more disposition toward the transgression, commitment. That's why for them, for arahat, no need to abstain intentionally. Although they avoid, it's automatically avoidance. That is why it's not considered as Viddhati. So Viddhati is deliberately abstaining. So that is why Viddhati cannot occur with the great functional consciousness. So it only arises the wholesome sense-pure consciousness in mundane. So in mundane, let's talk about at the moment of jhana. The jhana, we say the two group of 5 material sphere and immaterial sphere. What about jhana? So when someone enters into the jhana, he's not doing something wrong, not committing. So why there's no Viddhati? In the sublime citta, which take the counterpart sign of jhana. When the jhana arises, they are taking the counterpart sign mostly, as their object. That's why the object is different. The Viddhati taking the transgression, right? Transgression as their object. And here the counterpart sign is object. So they have a different object. That's why Viddhati cannot occur in the sublime consciousness as well. And this is the reason, why Viddhati cannot be associated with Mahavipaka, Mahakiriya, and Mahakata Citta. So other than that, Viddhati arises with the Mahakusala and the Lokutara. Right? So it's all together 89 consciousness complete. Then let's see. Okay, so for the Viddhati, mundane and supramundane, I already mentioned this. So Nana, we call the Nana and Karachi in mundane. So the meaning of Nana and Karachi, I will explain this. Karachi first. But in the Lokiya Citta, only sense-pure wholesome, right? only since we are wholesome, and on occasion deliberately refrain from wrongdoing. Only at that moment, right? So this we can say the occasional. This is Viddhati in the mundane consciousness is occasional, on occasion. And Viddhati is also nana. Nana means separately. Pali wa nana, it means separately. So separately because they are mutually exclusive. They have a different focus. Samavaja need to arise, can arise only when at the moment of abstaining from wrong speech. Sammakamanta at the moment of abstaining from wrong action. Like this. So that's why these three are mutual exclusive. That's why we can say nana and karaji sometimes, not only on occasion. These are very popular question in the traditional examination, you know. For this young Samanera, they always confuse what is that, and then they make a mistake. That's why the questioner always, you know, give this kind of question. So how will it become nana and how will it become karaji or like this? You know, by these two are very complicated. Actually, in young age and studying the Abhidhamma, I really hate these two terms. Nana karaji, oh, it made me headache. You know what happened? But we know if we explain in this way, what the event, how is that, is not that difficult. But for this young Samnira, sometimes they don't explain. The Viddhati is nana and karaji. What does it mean nana, karaji? We don't know. Very difficult to remember. Many times after the class finished, 2-3 days later, come to confusion. They're confused. And again, making mistake. Actually, we need to explain in proper way. And okay, so in supramundane consciousness now, in two words, here you see the niyata, ikato, because these words come from the Abhidhamma Sangha text, the Pali text. Taking that, oh, Viddhati is niyata and ikato. Or if we don't understand, really make headaches. Here, niyata mean, you know, the always or permanently arising. So here, necessarily present. Viddhati. It means whenever supramundane consciousness arises, Viddhati arises. There's no absent. This is called niyata. So in this case, niyata is Viddhati is niyata citasika, like this. So the permanently associated mental factor in the supramundane consciousness. Then another one, ikato. Ikato means collectively, so together. And here the being three present simultaneously. So they arise always occur together. No absent at all. No any of them can absent. Because these three, all three are path fetters, maganga. This is the thing, you know, if we understand in this way, you know, not confusing. But the only thing, the Pali wa, but our scholars, Myanmar Abhidhamma scholars, and the especially the Bhikkhu scholar, they like the Pali a lot. They never use the easy way, you know. They just use the Pali, and for the young student, it's very difficult. You know, the Pali is I don't understand what it means. And later on, when we see the Pali, our mind back off. You know, this is not the right way to study. You know, we have to be happy in studying Abhidhamma or Pali. So okay, now you understand the nature of Viddhati. So different way of association in mundane, nana or karachi, and supramundane, niyata and ikato. So don't worry about that. If you understand the nature, you can recall them. Okay, so then let's continue for the Abhamanya 2, Karuna and Mudita, compassion and appreciated joy. But these 2 occurs in 28 citta, whose great wholesome 8, great functional 8, and 12 consciousness of first 4 jhana in sublime. So 28, how many are dissociated?
61.
Okay, 61. What are these 61?
Unwholesome 12.
Okay, 12,
Plus 18.
18, 30.
And great resultant.
Yes, great resultant. So 38. And
And fifth jhanas.
right, fifth jhana. How many fifth jhana in sublime consciousness?
15. 3 plus 12.
Yeah, 15. So 28 and 38 plus 15.
And also the 8 Lokuttara Chitta.
Yes, 8 Lokuttara Citta. So altogether 61. This is not difficult, right? So if you know what are the associated, and if you can keep the order of the consciousness according to the Abhidhamma Sangha, you just go through and you count it. So if you keep the number, 61 not associated, it's not easy way. You will forget 60 or 62 or 62 wrong. You can confuse by that. You don't need to keep all the number in mind, you just need to keep the nature in mind. So here also come again the Nana and Karachi. So do you remember Nana? What does mean Nana? Separately, right?
Separately.
Okay, Karachi is on occasion sometimes, right?
Occasion.
Okay, so these two also Nana Karachi, because Nana means separately, as I already mentioned that the Karuna focusing on what? What is the object?
Others suffering.
Others suffering, or we can say the beings in suffer, right? Because the concept of being, without the concept of being, if we are focusing on anicca, dukkha, anatta, right? So no viddati at all at that moment, because no abhamanya, because focusing on ultimate reality, everything and the changing. No living beings, no beings. This is just phenomena. No karuna, nothing. No reason to develop compassion. Only when you consider these are living beings in suffering, then your compassion come out. And only when you keep these are living beings, they are in success and happy. They are happy, and they can develop your mudita, appreciated joy. That's why they have the different focus, different object, compassion toward the being in suffering, appreciated joy focusing on being in success. They have different objects. They cannot arise together. That's why they are mutual exclusive. Separately arise. That's why they are nana. Karachi. Okay, so when someone being suffer beside you, or you see that, but you don't pay attention on that, and you just trying to develop your, the recollection of the Buddha, or something like this, doing something good. Even at that time, the great wholesome consciousness arises, but no apamanya at all. That's why they are arising on occasions, only sometimes. That's why they are Karachi. So Nana and Karachi. So here, how this becomes the the mutual exclusive. So they commiserating, or this is developing the or making consolation toward the little beings in suffering. At that moment, compassion arises, and when rejoicing, others is fortune, others is success. At that moment, the mudita arises. That's why we can understand they cannot arise together at the same moment. Okay, so what about the karuna and mudita? So this any of them arise, and at the moment when the karuna or mudita arise, the viriddi can arise or not? How do you think? They are in two groups. We know, at a time, any one of viriddi can arise, or any of the abhamanya can arise. But if we consider, can we say at the moment of karuna arise? Definitely mudita cannot arise. But can we say the viriddi, any of viriddi can arise or not? How do you think?
I don't think so, because the object of attention is different between
Right.
Virati and
Right.
Abhamanya.
So if we say the viriddi and abhamanya in the mundane level, they can arise 1 in 5, right? Only 1 in 5, or cannot arise 2 in 5. And this is very useful information when you consider how many mental factors can arise. The consciousness, the wholesome consciousness arise. How many mental factors at the moment? So if we say at the moment, you need to ask what is in which action, in which mental action. If someone is just offering food to the bhikkhu, wholesome consciousness arise. In that consciousness, is there any viriddi?
No,
No.
Yes. Is there any abhamanya?
no.
No.
Right? So at the moment, without any of these 5. Okay, at the moment when he is avoiding from wrong speech, so out of the 5, which will arise?
Samavacha rises.
Samavata, right? So in this way, you need to consider this certain action is doing, certain purpose. Then you can point out this consciousness come with any of 5 or without these 5, because these are creational, right? Karaji, in some case, in the level of mundane. So for the great functional, also the same. And yeah, for the sublime consciousness, here the jhana, in case of 12, the 12 four jhana, 4 jhana, 12 consciousness. What are the feeling of these 12? What kind of feeling?
Somnasa.
Yes, all are somnasa, right? Because if we count the jhana factor, they're sukha, right? Sukha, ekagata, like this. So up to the 4, all are somnasa. So in the 5th jhana, why the karuna and mudita cannot arise? The question is that only the associated with the somnasa. Why not the 5th jhana? So because 5th jhana are associated with the equanimous feeling, equanimity. But for the karuna or mudita, they need the ground support of the joyful feeling. That's why they can associate with only form of 4 jhana, past 4 jhana, because they are associated with somanasa. But this also only when they develop the karuna meditation or mudita meditation, otherwise they focus on the counterpart sign of the anapana or kasina. At the moment, karuna and mudita cannot arise because they have a different focus, different object. So there, in the sublime consciousness, we can understand karaji, how they are karaji. Only when they develop the karuna meditation or mudita meditation, through the jhana arise, at that moment karuna associate or mudita associate. And if the meditator take on the other object, other meditation object, and develop the jhana, at the moment no karuna and no mudita. Right? Then for the 5th jhana are all equanimous feeling. So Ubekha Sahagata. That's why and the Karuna and Mudita cannot arrive with the fifth jhana. Okay. So here some teacher, here Keji referring to some teacher. In the literature, some teacher mean their view are looked down. If you see the Keji, this was by the expression of Keji, some teacher. But if we say some teacher by the word Keji, their view are not considered as in the high ranks. So what they say is the compassion and appreciated joy are not present in the type of consciousness accompanied by equanimity. This is so. How many consciousness now? So here in the in common agreements, we can get the 28 consciousness to associate with Karuna and Mudita. But if we count how many Ubekha Sahagata in these 28, how many Ubekha Sahagata?
4 plus
4
4 from great wholesome and 4 from great functional.
Okay, so the 8 will be exception again according to the case some teacher. So according to their point of view, Karuna or Mudita can arise only with the Somana Sahagata, right? That's why in the great wholesome or great functional and sublime consciousness, there must be Somanasa. Because if you say Somana, it needs the background feeling of Somanasa. They apply. That is why, according to them, only 20 consciousness can associate. So in this case, 2 enumeration methods. One is called Samana. They generally agree. Most of the scholars agree. That is in 28. Because the Karuna and Mudita need the background feeling of Somanasa is only in case of sublime. This is the general agreement. That's why they don't exclude the Ubekha Sahagata in great wholesome and great functional. They include all of them. So 28. For some teacher, Keji, according to them, it doesn't matter the sense sphere or sublime. Karuna and Mudita need the background feeling or Somanasa. That's why they exclude the equanimous feeling, the consciousness with equanimous feeling in 2 groups of great wholesome and great functional. That is why, according to them, only 20. This is also another critical point for the Abhidhamma Lana. But this is just the understanding is not that difficult. If you need to take exam, take the text, this is important point. You need to count what are the consciousness associated with Karuna and Mudita according to general agreement, Samanavara, and according to Keji, some teacher. Okay, so if you take a text, don't make mistake. Okay, let's continue. Okay. The last one, Panyindriya Cetasika, wisdom faculty. So it's non-delusion, amoha, the same as wisdom faculty. So the consciousness, 47 consciousness associated with knowledge. Knowledge is, in Pali, what does mean knowledge?
Jnana.
Jnana. Okay, so wisdom faculty, Panyindriya, non-delusion, amoha, and knowledge, jnana are synonyms. So 47 consciousness are associated with Panyindriya Cetasika, wisdom faculty. Okay, so 42 are exceptions. So can you count without seeing the list? 42.
12 from sense sphere, beautiful theta, dissociated from knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And
27.
Akusala 12.
theta 12.
Yeah, you need to start from Akusala, right?
Unwholesome theta 12. Rootless 18.
18.
13.
And 12 from a sense view, beautiful data dissociated with knowledge.
Okay, so this is
30,
30,
30 plus 12 will
12,
be 42.
42, right? These are 42. Okay, so in this case, if we say if someone is stealing, committing the stealing in a skillful way, is there any wisdom faculty?
No.
Okay, so some people, hacking, very smart to steal others' data. Is this called wisdom or not? Right?
No.
It's not.
No, right? Yeah, so for the wisdom faculty, never associated with unwholesome. Unwholesome. So panya is not there. So what is that?
When people are stealing, what is there?
Yeah.
Only the akusala chitasikas, moha, akiri, anatopa, and udicca, or maybe lopa, or maybe dosa.
Yes, this skillfulness, right? Only skillfulness. Some people, they are doing something disguising, showing the artificial expression, thinking, oh, he's the wise man. He do this. No, he's not the wise man. It's called that. Because the Maya is illusion, making something illusion, just a skillfulness and the power of unwholesome mind. And some people thinking, oh, this is wisdom, not wisdom. Okay, so only when it's associated with the consciousness, with knowledge, we can consider this is the work of wisdom. Also, if someone thinking in wrong way, getting angry, at the moment, no knowledge, right? No jnana. That's why no wisdom faculty. Okay, so this is in the case, some say jnana sampayutta, to arise the jnana sampayutta. For Brahma, they are easy to develop the jnana sampayutta because this in their realm of existence, no anger in the Brahma realm. Dosa is not there. That's why in situation, jnana is easy to arise by absent. That's why if you want to be knowledgeable or want to promote your wisdom, you have to suppress your angry nature, the nature of anger. Don't be disappointed easily. Calm down yourself. Also, if you are excited easily, the person easily excited. Also, the knowledge or the wisdom faculty fade away, not easy to arise. That's why even when we know something, good, but if we are excited and we forget many things, overwhelmed by the anger, dosa, jnana is difficult to arise. Okay, so these are 42 consciousness, the absent. So these are 47, we already counted. The enumeration are not difficult. If some are thinking, oh, the enumeration, counting the number is very a big issue. No, for my class, this easy way that they will just need to remember the principle and understand how to apply. Okay, so today I'm going to continue discussion rather than completing all the slides because these are niyata and aniyata. I will explain in this section. Okay, so let's discuss about what we have learned or any question. Okay.
Thank you very much, Sayadaw, for the Abhidhamma lecture. We will now begin the question and answer session on Zoom only. For everyone else joining us on stream, thank you for joining us today. The live stream will now end here, and we will continue with the question and answer session on Zoom. May you all be healthy, happy, and peaceful, and may you soon all realize the eternal peace of Nibbana. Thank you.